All right, Bourbon Quest. It's your host, Bourbon Steve. We're here tonight. Stay hydrated, my friends. This is going to be our first big reveal for 2022. Yes, I know. Technically, this came out in 2021. I did purchase it like on December 30th of 2021. Very late in the year. Did not have a time to open it with everything else going on, so this will be included if it's worthy in 2022's video. But tonight we're going to be tasting Wild Turkey Master's Keep 1 Toasted Oak. So let you get a look at the box. So we're going to be doing both an unboxing and an uncorking. So here on the box, Master's Keep, 2 legacies harmonized into one by Master Distiller Eddie Russell. Introducing the latest expression in the Master's Keep collection. One is delightful harmony of the distinct taste of father and son, and artfully blend of mature bourbons aged between 9 and 14 years, handpicked by Eddie and harmonized through a second maturation in specially toasted and charred oak barrels for a bold whiskey with beautiful balance. Sweet honey and subtle brown spice on the nose are followed by notes of vanilla, caramel, and butterscotch that evolves into long toasted oak finish. This is interesting. So this is batch number 0001. Wow. Brickhouse 6, proof 101. Eddie Russell, Master Distiller. I mean, I know it's 2 legacies. There's really no mention of Jimmy on here, though. So Zach, you can't talk shit about this one. Alright, so we open up the box. I'm going to go ahead and read this and then I'll show it to you. Crafted with conviction, Master's Keep 1. A whiskey that's truly greater than the sum of its parts. 1 is Master Distiller Eddie Russell's tribute to the distinct taste of father and son, artfully blending bourbon, ages, and character into one harmonious expression of boldness and balance. His father, finally, famed Master Distiller Jimmy Russell's love of mid-aged bourbon is no secret. At home, you'll often find him sipping on 8 to 10-year-old whiskeys from the distillery. However, that's never swayed Eddie's passion for the complex characteristics that come with bourbons aged for longer in the brickhouse. To reflect his father's taste, Eddie hand-selected barrels aged between 9 and 10 years old, then selecting his own small batch of carefully aged 14-year-old whiskey. Eddie crafted these profiles into one. The magic is in this second maceration using new oak barrels, especially toasted and charred, resting in one of his favorite timber rickhouses, Tyrone G, a first for Master's Keep. Oh, that's interesting. The result is a masterful unity of taste and flavor with aromas of sweet honey and hints of brown spice. From the special toasting comes a palette of bold vanilla, butterscotch, and caramel that evolves gently into a fresh and lingering toasted oak finish. 1 is certainly a harmony that's worth the wait. So the biggest thing I see on here, and this is Eddie Russell Master. And listen, Eddie Russell's a great master distiller, but I guess the one thing that I see in this, just off the cuff, is that Jimmy's really not involved anymore, which I mean, understandably so. I mean, Jimmy is a freaking whiskey icon, but you know, he's in his 90s now, so how much involvement he really has anymore, I don't know. But I mean, because this seems to have Eddie all over it, with a touch of Jimmy, with Eddie honoring his father, Jimmy Russell. But I mean, nonetheless, I have mixed expectations for this. As you can see, there's the box and the opening from other Whiskey Tube channels that have already reviewed this. I've gotten mixed results from them, but as always, I'm most interested in what I think of it. So we got it out of the box. To be honest with you, I don't have high expectations. I have kind of mediocre expectations. I think that's based upon some of the other Whiskey Tube channels that I take stock in, how they've valued it, and it's either been really good or mediocre. So we'll see. I may have a totally different opinion. But I'm totally excited about trying it. America! Alright, so we get our 2-ounce pour into the infinity bottle. Oh yeah. I love the freaking bottles on this. I'm hoping, I really do hope, that I have an opportunity to shake hands and meet with Jimmy at some point, because like I said, he's in his like 90s, I believe. He's a freaking icon. I would love to have an opportunity to shake hands with him and meet him. Alright, so this is the one Toasted Oak. And then we've still got last year's. I already finished off one of last year's. I luckily was able to get 2 of them. So we're gonna compare. And I really did love the last year's. Only the second bottled and bond 17-year-old Wild Turkey. All right, so stay hydrated, my friends. Alright. So the nose is very sweet, caramel, vanilla. You definitely get that toast. And spice. Man, the nose is freaking fantastic on this. Like caramel, vanilla, toast, spice, baking spice, black pepper. I am digging this nose. The color's great on this. Like, the nose is freaking fantastic. Alright, so don't let me down, because the nose is fantastic. Cheers, Bourbon Quest. Yeah. I'm not digging it on the palate. The nose is great. The palate comes off as harsh. The nose is great. And granted, this is a fresh crack, neck pour. Yeah, there's that vanilla and caramel. You get that toast, but then it's got like ragged and harsh edges. Like, I'm not, I mean, I think, there's always been these new trends in bourbon, whether it be, fucking port wine finishes with Angel's Envy to, the new toasted grays, both of which, I mean, I acknowledge and I admire it, but I'm not fans of I'm definitely not a fan of the wine finishing stuff, like Angel's Envy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to say bad things about it or that it's horrible. It's just not my jam. And then the latest trend seems to be getting on this toasted phase, which I thought the Elijah Craig toasted was very good. I mean, I was down with that. Outside of, and even it wasn't like phenomenal, but I could get down with the Elijah Craig toasted. And I think, which understandably so, this is Wild Turkey trying to like see what they can do with that newest trend. And I think the nose is great, but all right, it's getting a little better. That'll be one to see down the road if I think it's worthy or not, because more of that caramel and vanilla and toast is coming through. Um, I'm still getting not quite as much on the first two pours, but I'm still getting a little bit of ragged edges, um, lack of complexity. But I think that's one that I'll revisit in a few weeks or a month. I think once it gets some airtime, it might do better, which I think is traditionally true with toasted barrels. I think they need a little bit more airtime. Yeah, the nose is great. I mean, I'm giving it like on a 0 to 5, like a 4.5 to, I'll give it a 4.5. I won't go as high as 5. But the nose is great. Yeah. I think that's one that's gonna, like, it's already opening it up, getting more of that toasted note and oak and caramel and vanilla. Still getting some slight ragged edges and harshness, but not as much on the first two sips. So, although I'm not crazy about that one, I think in 2 to 4 weeks it can take a big turn. So we'll see. It's not bad, but I think, and it is an egg board. It deserves another 2 to 4 weeks of airtime. But, my initial review would be like a sideways. But I think that can totally change in 2 to 4 weeks. I hope so. I hope that's the case. It's not bad. It's just not, when you're doing a limited release special edition. I mean, for the most part, you expect it to knock your socks off from the first pour. It definitely didn't on the first pour. A little bit better on the second, and now it's gotten quite better. So I think there's some high hopes for that, but I think it's wait and see. But like I said, I killed Artie one of last year's bottled and bond. And oh, I'm gonna pour a little more. I want to compare these side by side. The nose is great on that. Damn it. The nose is better on that. I mean, it's like rich, dark caramel, vanilla, touch of orange. And I love this bottle. I was so glad I got more than one. Alright. Without a doubt, last year's Master's Keep bottled and bond is better than this year's Wild Turkey 1. No doubt. I mean, this is freaking delicious. I'm a big fan of that one. Which, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I already killed one of these. I was fortunate enough to get 2 of those last year. So this is, one's dead in the garage. This is the second one. We now have the the toasted barrel, which I do think I'd be interested to see how I compare these in a month, because I think this one needs some airtime. It's already gotten better in a little bit that I've had. I don't think that it would overtake last year's bottled and bond, but I mean, I think there's a puncher's chance. We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, and then we'll try and shoot the rye video, because we're wanting to make January rye month. It's, you know, 2022's had some technical difficulties. Last year when we started the channel was great. I'm trying to get somebody else on to like edit these videos, create some content, spread more mediums out there with Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, TikTok. I just gotta get somebody young in here to do this with me. But the problem is, I'm finding young people that want to work and have the similar passion that you do. I'm trying to make it happen for you guys. I promise you I am, because I know I can't do it alone. I mean, I'm a one-man show. I'm doing as much as I can. And I feel like I'm letting you down, and I need to get somebody else on here that can spread that gap between me and you and make it more congenial. That's my goal. Fingers crossed. I think that's going to happen. We'll see if it happens. I hope so, because I just want to bring you as much as amazing content that I can. But alright, so let's recap this. Yeah, I think if you can get this at retail, which is I think like $180, definitely. I would not pay anything more than $180 for this, honestly. This is one of my favorites. Last year's bottled and bond is only like the second bottled and bond Wild Turkey I'd ever done, and it's freaking fantastic. I think I have high hopes with this opening up a little bit more over the next 2 to 4 weeks, and we'll see. But I think one of the things that I got the most out of this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully at all, but I mean, Jimmy's in his 90s, and he's fast phasing out, or already has. But Eddie, well, I won't say he's just as good, but he's a notch below, which is nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, it's hard to live up to a legend like Jimmy Russell, but Eddie is right there. I mean, he really is. And he would probably say the same thing. It's just like, I mean, it's hard when you're the son of Michael Jordan. You're not going to be as great as Michael Jordan. Or if you're the son of Shaquille O'Neal, yeah, you're probably not going to be as great as Shaquille O'Neal. And no slight to Eddie at all, but you're probably not going to be as great as Jimmy. I mean, and he knows that. And that's no, I mean, I would say that's not a slap in the face. I wouldn't say I'm as great as Roy, my father. Roy Watkins was a freaking fantastic man. I wouldn't say I'm better than him. I mean, I'd be okay if I was 75% of Roy. And that would make me freaking fantastic. And I think that's, I mean, these distilleries that have been around for, 200, close to 300 years, most of their legacies have passed down, especially the big guys. And listen, I'm not trying to downgrade any of these 20-year-old and less bourbon distilleries, but I think, whatever, the Big 8, Big 10 bourbon guys that have been around from the inception are the way to go. I would start out with those, and then you mingle. I mean, look, listen, when I say mingle out, like your Chattanooga whiskey, your Smoke Wagon, your Nelson's Greenbrier, Belle Meade, and Tennessee whiskey. Those are freaking great stories in the last, 10 to 15 years? But go back 200 years. Are we at 300 years? Anyways, you get what I'm saying, but where I would start is with your 5 to 6 big boys. Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Wild Turkey, Heaven Hill, Buffalo Trace, I'll throw one more out there, Woodford. So start with those 6. Find what your palate is. I mean, I think you should honor those big 6 distilleries first and foremost, and then venture out from there. Don't get me wrong, I mean, there's another 10 that are great and that have some stories and legacy too, whether it be Peerless, Wilderness Trail, hey, George Dickel, I think a lot of people give George Dickel a bad rap, but they produce, especially since Denise Austin's been there, they produce some great stuff. Yeah, does some of it have that Flintstone vitamin? But I think they're venturing away from that. I really do. Um, yeah, Wilderness Trace, George Dickel, Uncle Nearest. I mean, and there's another 3 dozen craft distilleries that, yeah, I think they're give or take. I think they're going to have a hard time. I really do, because I really don't think they're going to be able to compete with the big boys for an extended period of time. Especially as those big boys are ramping up their availability and allocation. And it's a double-edged sword, because I mean, Buffalo Trace and Jim Beam and Jack Daniels and Heaven Hill, I mean, they're all ramping up their allocations. But at the same time, they're like, I don't know, they're not making it available enough. I mean, they are and they aren't. I mean, it's a weird concept. But, I mean, they're going to survive and they're going to profit. And I think in the last 5 years, some of these craft distilleries have been able to make somewhat of an impact. But I don't think it's been big enough for them to last long term. Because they may have 2 more years left, and when those 2 years are over, the big boys, Buffalo Trace, Jack Daniels, Old Forester, Makers, Woodford, whatever, they're gonna so oversaturate the market that they will push those craft people out the market. Except for, 2 or 3 of them that make phenomenal stuff. Like, I mean, Smoke Wagon is going to be around. I hope to God Blue Run, is that it? Blue Run or Blue Butterfly? I hope they get smuffed out. Because they're freaking marketing guys that don't fucking know anything about whiskey, that are overcharging and produce shit. Alright, I said it. Like, fuck those guys. So, Blue Run, get the fuck out. But yeah, I think your top 6 distilleries are going to continually producing phenomenal stuff. They're going to push, the 10 or 15 craft distilleries out the market, because they won't be able to compete. And then your dumbasses like Blue Run that want to overcharge for $200 because they got a butterfly on their market and they got a dick shaped like a Nike symbol. Yeah, whatever, dude. Get the fuck out of here. But like, your new up and comers like Chattanooga Whiskey and Nelson's Greenbrier, which, Charlie, we need to get you on an interview. Alright. I hope this opens up a little bit more. I'm done. I'm wrapping up. It's midnight. Yeah, it needs some more airtime. It's harsh.